What's up, A to Z Sports Live on a Wednesday, talking about the 0-3 Titans again as we inch closer and closer to the Week 4 Monday Night Football matchup at the Miami Dolphins. And we'll attempt to find out more about what the Dolphins are going to do at the quarterback position against the Titans and see if the Titans can get their first win of the season. But today, Easton, we're talking about some winning pieces. Like, what does that mean? Like, the Titans are 0-3. Yet an NFL analyst has pointed out some winning pieces the Titans have on this struggling offense. And so, this is going to be an interesting conversation because how much do we buy that the Titans do have winning pieces? Why haven't they been able to see any of this translate into the scoreboard and onto the win and loss column? So we're going to have a good show here talking about that. And then also I have a bone to pick with Treylon Burks. As some data has come out and it's confirming what I thought, which is always good when the data does that. And
we've never heard you mad at Treylon Burks. Never once.
No, never once. But I like when data confirms what I think. So we'll do that. And then we'll get to sports trivia to wrap up this Wednesday. So let's get it going here officially on this Wednesday. Easton, welcome in. Tell the people what they got to do.
Good morning, Austin. Good morning, people. All of you guys that are with us already live, thank you for joining us. Help us out. Hit that like button. If you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube or on Twitch, hit like, hit subscribe. On Twitter, hit that retweet button, hit that like button, hit that copy link button. Send this show to a friend this morning who you know enjoys a little Titan sports talk. We'd love to have them in here, and we appreciate all you guys in the comments over there on Facebook and YouTube. See you guys pouring in like Reginald and Jonathan, Alex, Gene, Robbie, Scott, all of you guys in the chat. We love talking with you guys every single morning here on the A to Z Morning Show.
Yep, let's get it going officially. Welcome into A to Z Sports, powered as always by the BetMGM app. I'm Austin Stanley. He is Easton Freeze, one of our two reporters, 2.5 if you count Buck, Titans reporters at A to Z Sports.com.
Buck's not going to be happy about being a half reporter. That's tough.
It's okay. He's got other things to do. He's just half. Yeah, never mind. But
don't worry about it.
We go live every weekday morning at 8 Central Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Links to the show segment by segment on our Twitter X timeline. Also hit us up on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads for more great Titans content. Got to thank our sponsors because they make it happen for us, and they help out all of you, like Wilson County Hyundai. Make them a part of your new car buying process. See them in Lebanon or online at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. The Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Farm Bureau Health Plans. Get better with Farm Bureau Health Plans. You can do that by using our link to get a quote, fbhp.com/ATOZ. And TDOT, be part of the solution to end littering and make sure nobody trashes Tennessee by visiting them at nobodytrashestennessee.com. All right, so there's a couple things I want to get to, and Alex says half is generous, talking about Buck. And then Just Smash says half for the half star, Austin. I got it. I wasn't even trying to reference the old Tup bit. RIP to the Tup on that one right there. I do see Austin Huff is still making some fantastic content, and I actually made a bet that I'm contemplating making content out of too, because Austin Huff said something on Twitter last night in his video that I'm going to hold him to it. But anyway, I did see a couple comments I want to get to. Just Smash says, listening as I prep for this hurricane. Yes,
boy.
There is is it a hurricane officially? Last time I checked, it was a tropical storm. But
big old
regardless, big storm. It's making its way to the Gulf, so make sure everybody feels good about that. And I did see a couple comments here. Alex says, moving Radins to right tackle would be stupid. Leave him at guard. And then Jay says, got to sign Chris Hubbard off the 49ers practice squad. So, look, a couple comments there that I agree with. Overall, I do think an extra help, an extra body, a capable body at right tackle is needed, and that Dylan Radins should not move to right tackle. I'm guessing that's something that you would agree with too, Easton.
I concur, Austin. I do.
Very good. Very good. Easy enough. Okay, so let's get to this topic at hand today, and that is the fact that the Titans are 0-3. And I saw this tweet this morning from Dan Orlovsky of ESPN. How do you feel about Dan Orlovsky, Easton? Because we have not, we're still getting to know each other as far as like our on-air takes. What's your stance on Dan Orlovsky?
I like
before
Dan.
we see his
I
tweet.
think Dan gets a little more hate than he deserves. I think people generally don't give people that try to cover the league on a national level enough of a break sometimes. Certain people you can tell really put in the work and the effort, and certain people don't. And generally speaking, I think it's a near impossible task to, in detail, cover all 32 teams. That's really it's hard enough keeping up with the day-to-day goings on of one team. It's near impossible to do it for all the teams. And certain people, like I think Dan does a good job of this. I think a lot of the ESPN Live crew does a good job of this, actually. I think Ryan Clark does a decent job of this. I think Mina Kimes is whip smart and does a good job of this. And they, you can tell Dan's posting tape all the time. He's watching the games. He is watching the all 22. He's putting in the work. When you're covering the whole league, you're going to get things wrong, and sometimes hilariously wrong, that those of us at the local level are like, how can you not know this? It's the same reason why you don't know the day-to-day goings on of the Seattle Seahawks, right? Like it's hard. So I like Dan quite a bit. He's not my favorite guy in the world, but I think he does a good job.
Yeah, I think Dan's really smart. I think ESPN Hot Take Machine has gotten to him at times in the past, and that's because he has been contractually obligated to have stronger takes.
The mind virus.
Because of what the product is at ESPN overall. But I do like Dan Orlovsky, which makes this tweet interesting. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of vagueness to this tweet because Dan tweeted this morning early. Now, I know he's an Eastern time guy, but it was early. Really like the Titans skill group on tape. Multiple pieces winning, tight ends that are a matchup issues, backs that are dynamic. Now, he doesn't name any names, a couple position groups specifically, but really like the Titans skill group on tape. Multiple pieces winning, tight ends are matchup issues, and backs are dynamic. And I think that's kind of what we expected the Titans to have when they signed Calvin Ridley, signed Tony Pollard to go along with Tajay Spears, Chig Okonkwo and Josh Wiley, both progressing in their third and second year respectively at the tight end position. And you have DeAndre Hopkins. And then you're like, okay, yes, agree. But here we are. The Titans are 0-3 and they've scored 17, and 14 points. And there's a lot of problems overall with this offense. And they've also added Tyler Boyd. And I think I'm going to play this Tyler Boyd clip, Easton, to kind of pull this thing whole together because this guy knows the offense. He played under this offense for the last 5 years with Zach Taylor and Brian Callahan in Cincinnati. And he was asked just about the overall offensive mindset of where this team is right now with all the struggles they've had in the first 3 games.
I know the ins and outs of it, but it's easy said than done with me saying it because this is a new offense for everybody else. And I know how this offense works, and it works great. We got so many different schemes. It's kind of hard to game plan everything, But I think we just got to get on one accord. That's it, And I just think we got to play for one another. I think the relationship and the chemistry isn't quite there. I think we need to just compete harder. Each and every play, and don't look back to we threw the pick 6 early in the game. Still early, first quarter, a second drive, we can still bounce back, So I'm not saying that I felt the energy dying out, but it is what it is. We're not going to use that as our cop out, to not get the job done, But I just think because it was kind of the same thing when I was in Cincy, man. It just takes a little bit of time, But the sooner the better. We can't wait till the end of the season and start trying to get wins. It has to start now, And I think we're down the right path. We show flashes in every game. We show flashes. We just got to be more consistent and just take it play by play, and we'll be fine.
So that's confidence from Tyler Boyd. We'll be fine. Take it one play at a time, right? So what is your thought on his comments about the chemistry's not quite there, but he does believe in the offensive system because he's seen it for several years work in this league?
Yeah, Monday's press conferences were relatively quiet. Not a lot of things that I came away thinking, oh, that's interesting. This was one of the few things that caught my ear. And I just think it's interesting because it's one thing for you and I and anybody on a Titans radio show or video show to come on during the week and say, it just looks like the chemistry for this team that haven't quite come together yet. It's another thing for the players to openly admit, yeah, we're not quite there. We're still getting on the same page. And for Tyler Boyd to say that so candidly, which I think we all appreciate,
Mhm.
is telling to me. I think it confirms what we've all seen, right? The fact that this offense is still kind of coming together. Every game, there are a couple of plays where you're like, Calvin Ridley running out of bounds on that one out route. And, you've got guys that you watch the tape, and Chig and Tony seem like they're in the same spot. Like there's
Yeah.
no way the spacing there on the route is correct. And Calvin Ridley running downfield and Levis putting the ball in the position for him to get it, and really never quite seeing it. Like there are little things here and there where it just doesn't seem like it's on the same page. And I don't think that's all that surprising. Again, to zoom out on this season, there are a million new pieces on this offense. You've got a young quarterback who's still in the early days of his NFL career. You got a new first-time play calling head coach who is still 3 games is not enough time to really hone in your offensive identity. So I don't think it's super shocking that they haven't come together yet. In fact, I think it's pretty predictable.
Yeah.
That's not an excuse to say like, well, of course, it's okay. Pat on the head. Don't worry about it. Like it's on them to put it together and quickly. But if we're being fair about it, I don't think it's super surprising that they're not on the same page yet. And it shows.
I agree. I thought they would have a slower start offensively to the season. They have. Now it's been disastrous because of the 21 points that the offense and special teams have directly added to the scoreboard for the other team. I guess 2 of them in the Bears game. Now, Bork brings up something that I was going to mention too, because when Tyler Boyd's like, yeah, the chemistry is just not quite there. And it's easy for me to say that the offense is legit because I know it. It's new to everybody else, right? Bork says, so what were they doing during practice? Well, DeAndre Hopkins was in Los Angeles for 2 weeks rehabbing a knee and didn't practice after July 31st. So in training camp, that's a big deal. Tyler Boyd had a bruised foot, and I don't know exactly how much time he missed, but he missed a chunk. Like it was at least a week, wasn't it?
Yeah, there's at least one work week. I did not see him out there.
Yeah, at least one work week, and then he came back, and then you saw Levis start throwing the ball to him. You're like, oh, okay, maybe Tyler Boyd is important in this offense. And then obviously there's other things. The offensive line is not going through as many live reps because there's no
Austin,
finishing on the quarterback too.
People might think this is such a lame answer. I think in the 2024 NFL ecosystem, the way that the NFLPA has negotiated practices, man, I just don't think practices mean very much anymore. And maybe I'm just too close to it. I'm too in the weeds. It's simpler than this, but the way that they are, I'm not saying they're just like jogging through practice all the time, but we went from, in my lifetime, and I'm not that old, doing 2-a-days, full padded practices throughout August, and like double, triple the number of real live reps that these guys were getting before they ever played in a real game. Starters were playing full preseason games, and now you're getting none of that. And I just think September has largely become what August used to be for these football teams. You're seeing down offense. You're seeing clunky starts. You're seeing things that people in the comments understandably being like, what were you doing all through practice? I just don't think it translates super well, the modern practice regimen that these guys are going through. That's my personal opinion on it.
Now, John has a personal opinion. John says, if they don't win Monday night, I think I figured it out. Everything was fine until Easton joined A to Z. So it's like, hey, you blew it all up. No, but in all seriousness,
it was fine.
Yeah, I remember
7-9, 7-10.
Sam and I were having shows early in camp,
right?
Where I remember having the take, I don't know what the hell this offense is going to be because I can't look at anything because the offensive line sucks.
Right.
Like that was the first week of training camp, was like, I can't evaluate anything because the O-line is so bad. And I think that's where we're kind of sitting in the first week of training camp and the first 3 games of the season. It's really hard to evaluate a lot of things outside of Will Levis doing boneheaded things that turn the football over. But the offensive line is causing us to have an inability to truly evaluate. Like, Will Levis is pressured a lot. We know that. How much of it is Levis's fault? How much of it is the O-line's fault? And then when you're looking specifically at Dan Orlovsky's tweet, really like the Titans skill group on tape, multiple pieces winning, tight ends that are matchup issues, backs that are dynamic. that's great tape, but it's not doing anything. So I do want to ask this question and get into this. So what's the biggest reason a winning Titans offensive weapon group isn't able to reach its potential? Because I think there's two here. And I think it's trying to find out how much of this is Levis, how much of this is offensive line. And then you have the play calling aspect that, and you asked Brian Callahan about something along with this on Monday. So we'll get, maybe there's three. Maybe there's three options really here. The quarterback, the O-line, and the play calling coaching scheme grouped into one. So there's three options on that. What's the biggest reason why a winning Titans offensive weapon group isn't reaching its potential, according to Dan Orlovsky? But first, I'll tell you guys all about our new friends at T-Dot. They can help you keep Tennessee beautiful. And that's what you should do with T-Dot. And nobody trashes Tennessee. At least it shouldn't. But there's over 88 million pieces of litter out there on the roadways right now. And T-Dot spends $23 million a year cleaning up that litter. And it's still a massive problem. But we can all be a part of the solution as Tennesseans by making some simple changes. Stop littering. It's just so easy to just walk that whatever it is in your hand to a trash or recycling bin and move on with your day, picking up the litter when you see it and walking it to one of those bins as well. Or join local cleanups like A to Z Sports is going to be doing this fall. Every action counts, and we can all help Tennessee stay beautiful. See how you can make a difference. It's a great way to get your kids involved. If you have a growing family, if you want to try to help your kids learn how to keep Tennessee beautiful for their generation and more, you can do it all by visiting nobodytrashestennessee.com.
We are also brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. They are ready for football season, and over at BetMGM, they're prepared to give you up to, get this, $1,500 in bonus bets back if your first bet does not cash. That's a lot of money. That's fantastic insurance. All you got to do is sign up with our bonus code A to Z Sports over on BetMGM. The action is always right in the palm of your hand because you can use the BetMGM app wherever you go in the state of Tennessee. So whether you're enjoying a Titans win at a Broadway bar or at home with some friends, BetMGM is your go-to for wagering on Sundays. Sign up using our code A to Z Sports and experience this football season like never before. BetMGM, an official partner of the Tennessee Titans.
All right, Easton, so we're asking the question, and I'm going to send you to the chat to see what the comments are saying. What's the biggest reason why a winning offensive skill group for the Titans isn't reaching its potential? Because Dan Orlovsky had the tweet this morning. I'll show it again. Really like the Titans skill group on tape. Multiple pieces winning. Tight ends are matchup issues. Backs are dynamic. We've kind of boiled this down pre-question and pre-answers that it could be the quarterback, it could be the offensive line, or it could be the coaching, play calling / scheme. Let's see what the comments have to say.
Yeah, Devin says he blames me, which is fair. Jeffrey says he blames Levis. Dad to the Bone agrees that it's the quarterback. Mario thinks it's more on the O-line, as does Duran. IR Hoshi thinks it's the new system. That's the reason why. And then Duran says Levis is his second closest answer there. Ramon says can't let special teams off the hook. Corey thinks it's the offensive line.
The special teams, like we're talking about specifically the offense. Like
right.
I know the special teams have been bad. We are not letting the special teams off the hook for being a part of the 0-3 start. But when we're talking specifically about the offensive struggles, let's keep it there.
I agree. Clayton says it's the offensive line. Just Smash says it's the dumb turnovers because of the pressure. So I believe that alludes to the offensive line there.
Or Levis.
Well, yes, that whole operation. Fair. Steven says it's the offensive line. And then Steve says it starts and ends with the offensive line. So a lot of offensive line in there. Less Levis than I expected to see. Austin, I'm inclined to lean O-line as well. I mean, it really is all of them, right? Here's my point, and this is not the direction we necessarily wanted to take it, but I think definitely the thing that I am least concerned about is the coaching. I think acceptable answers here are O-line or quarterback. I think there's an argument to be made for both of those things. The coaching, there's only really two issues for me, and we can maybe talk about those later. But generally speaking, I think that the coaching job, play calling wise on offense, has been perfectly fine. I'm not too concerned with that. So I'll say offensive line. And it's an interesting conversation today, this week, because I keep hearing it's the right side. It's the right side. The right side. I don't think Dylan Radins deserves to be bucketed in with the problem children here. I was watching like all of Dylan Radins' snaps so far this year. yesterday. He's had one really good game. He's had one perfectly serviceable game, and he's had one bad game, in my opinion. But generally speaking, I think that he is a perfectly serviceable guard in the NFL, and I think he's getting too much heat. I think the Titans have a workable offensive line 4 wide from left tackle to right guard, and it is literally just the right tackle turnstile that is giving them hell right now. And here's maybe where you can turn it towards the coaching staff a little bit more, because something that I said a lot last year, the last 2 years, Austin, I'd imagine you probably agreed with this at the time. We watched the Titans offensive line the last 2 years really not have a serviceable tackle on either side of the ball. No good tackle play. Correct. And my point was, in the NFL, tackles are scarce. Very few teams have 2 bona fide stud bookend tackles. You can get by in the NFL with one good tackle. If you can lean on one guy, good coaches can scheme up a workable, sometimes elite offense around one good tackle play and constantly helping the other side. But you can't do it when you have no tackles. The Titans, I think, now find themselves, it's early, but I think they find themselves in that position where you have one serviceable tackle. I think everybody saw J.C. Latham on all of these rookie praise lists for week 3, 44 pass blocking snaps, only 1 pressure allowed, one of the best rookies of the week. Every week he has gotten better and better. He's trending up. It's unfair to him this early to lean on him like a veteran bookend tackle, but I don't think the Titans have a choice.
And look, he's a 7th overall pick. Like,
yes,
do it, right?
Do it. Yeah.
That's what you're here for.
Totally fair. But I guess my point here is, if I'm going to not poke fun at, but ask more of the coaches, that's where it is for me is, hey, you've got one serviceable tackle. You guys you have a very talented offensive line coach. You have a whip smart offensive coordinator and a head coach play caller combination. You guys, I know you're capable of working around one tackle. Do a better job of it.
Yeah, and like Just Smash brings up, they did it when Conklin was here his rookie year. Needed time to learn and chipped with Walker consistently. Totally. And whether it was Delaney or would that have been like the Luke Stalker years, whoever that second or Anthony Fasano maybe sprinkled in there. Yeah. He might have been earlier, but there was the tight end chip help, absolutely. And so I think the reason why, look, there's a lot of just 5 offensive linemen, no tight end attached like formations with this offense too, where you're like, all right, just go win quick, right? And like I go immediately back to one of Brian Callahan's comments that he had in the offseason was, well, when you win fast, you throw fast, or when you win quick, you throw quick. On the outside, they want to get guys that can win quick and have play concepts that can win quick.
Let's talk about that later in the show, because I
was going to talk about it right now.
Okay, let's get into it then, because they're
not winning quick, in my opinion.
So when you say they, are you talking about the whole team, individual players? Because the data shows us that certain players are winning quick, but the data also shows us that they're not throwing quick.
Fair. They're not throwing quick.
Right.
And that's what I was going to ask, for you to kind of walk us through, because you asked directly a question about getting rid of the football in 2.5 seconds or less, and it's just not happening.
Right. So watching back that tape of the Green Bay game, I tweeted this out. By far, and people thought I was a Malik hater on Sunday. I've written a whole article giving him a lot of praise, so go read it. But one thing I want to give him a ton of praise for, and something that we never saw in Tennessee, holy cow, that boy got the ball out quick on Sunday. 2.14 second time to throw, if I'm not mistaken. That's like the corpse of Big Ben fast. Like, can't sack this guy fast. That's really, really impressive. That's by far, in my opinion, the most impressive thing he did. And it led me to think, how fast are the Titans getting the ball out? Let's go look into that. And my buddy Zach Lyons, who's on 104.5, shout out Zach. He does a great job with data and all of these kinds of things. He sent me a chart, which I should have pulled for today, but I'll just talk you guys through it. It is a chart of every individual quarterback from the Titans and the Bengals. So all the Bengals quarterbacks that Brian Callahan coached in his time there, and then the past handful of Titans quarterbacks. So even Josh Dobbs is on here, Tannehill, Levis, all those guys. And it's a ranking by year of the rate of passes that are out in under 2.5 seconds. So like you said, winning quick. The very top of the list, for example, 2023, Joe Burrow, 62.9% of his passes were out in under 2.5 seconds. That's winning quick. That's a fast-paced, dink and dunk, death by 1,000 cuts offense. That's what you want to see. That's kind of what we thought we'd see with Brian Callahan. Well, there's like, I don't know, 20 names on this list from the past couple of years. All the way at the very bottom in 20th-ish is 2024, Will Levis. 34.2% of his passes are getting out in under 2.5 seconds. That is slower than 2022 rookie Malik Willis. That's slower than 2019 Ryan Tannehill, who they were doing these long developing play action plays and had a much, much better pass protection situation.
Oh, that was the year, right? Like that was the formula is you have Roger Saffold, Taylor Lewan, Ben Jones.
The point was to be slow. That was the point.
Quentin Spain and Jack Conklin.
Yeah.
Because you had AJ Brown and Derrick Henry doing play action bang slants for days.
Right, right, exactly. And so it's astonishing how few of these plays he's getting the ball out quickly. I think when you watch the tape, it's kind of a half and half deal in terms of where the blame is on that, because half the time you're like, Will, there he is. I don't know. I hand up. I don't know where this guy is. Maybe he's your third read. You haven't gotten to him yet. Maybe it's a poor play design for you to be able to see that early, but there's a guy there. You got time. And then the other half of the time, it's like they're trying to get these routes to develop 15 yards downfield, and they've left 5 in the pattern they left 5 in to protect. So I don't really know what the game plan is here. So I mentioned earlier my 2 big things that I have an issue with for the coaching staff. I mentioned one with the not scheming better with the offensive line help. Number 2 is easily, why are these plays not developing fast? Why are we not really emphasizing getting the ball out quick?
And
so what do you think?
That falls on the play calling and the scheme, which I put up a poll on our YouTube. What's the biggest reason a winning Titans offensive weapon group isn't reaching its potential? 64% of the answers are currently the O-line. 28% of the answers are currently Will Levis, and 9% is currently play calling and scheme. Now those are ever changing as they bounce back and forth by a percentage or two in a bunch of different directions. But the offensive line, I feel like you're at the point where you've got a problem with the O-line, so you start have to call plays to protect it. You've got to start doing other things. There's one less receiver that's going out for a route because they got to help whoever's out there at right tackle. You've got to do something schematically to set up a play calling plan of setting up a counter to one play. Like, right, they've thrown a couple screens. We've yet to see the fake screen dolly deep shot. And I don't know if that's going to happen or to who they would throw it to. But, I want to see the screens. God, the screens have not worked really. And so what's the adjustment to that? Like, why can't they hit anything quick? I know they tried the quick hitch, to DeAndre Hopkins, and it would pick 6 the other way by Jair Alexander. I've got questions about that play. Kurt Warner did a really good breakdown of that on Twitter.
Go watch it.
But that's something that I don't want to form an opinion about it without hearing from either Callahan or Levis or
I'm going to ask Will Levis in about 2 hours. So we'll have an answer on that.
We will know some more about it too. And I think overall though, and Vanessa brings up slow football spatial reading. And I don't know, that's a lot of interesting words put together in a sentence, but I kind of agree with it. I think Will Levis is not processing things fast enough. I do sometimes feel like he should be getting rid of the football, but he's not.
For sure.
Is he not seeing things fast enough or clearly and registering it? Is he getting gun shy in some opportunities because of the bad mistakes he's made the first couple of weeks? Maybe. Is he being coached too much to be okay with boring? Therefore, he's holding on to the ball and waiting for the check down option to present itself.
Right.
And so I think Will Levis, if I'm saying the biggest reason why the Titans skill players who are winning, according to Dan Orlovsky, the skill players are winning more often than not, but we're not seeing it. My number one reason is because of Will Levis not seeing them or feeling it or predicting it and playing with anticipation. That is my number one reason.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. And I, like I said, I think it's about half and half. I think it is half that, but I highlighted something that Scott Weaver said in the comments here. Need to use quick crossers. That's the kind of like, fan chat thing you see, and it's like it's not that simple, and we could sit here. I think Scott nailed it. I think it is that simple. I'm struggling to understand why they aren't hitting more of the easy buttons in terms of quick developing passing plays. And again, you literally saw the Green Bay Packers do this on Sunday. Find ways to get the ball out quickly to guys. Literally, their first passing play was Jaden Reed across the middle, quick cross.
How freaking brilliant was that? Like, and all it took was
it helped Kenneth Murray sucking at his job on that play, but still, it would have been a 7, 8, 9, 10-yard play at least, even if Kenneth was in position.
It was such a good play. And then, like, have the Titans just thrown a catch a shotgun snap, deep shot, like quick fade? Like, have they done that? Because that's what Watson beat Roger McCreary on. It was a slot fade.
Right.
But like, have they done that? I mean, I know we're asking to remember 3 games of plays off the top of our head in the moment.
Yeah, I don't think so. I'll tell you this, not successfully, because if it worked, I would remember it.
Well, because like the shot plays, I mean, maybe the Ridley touchdown.
That's what I'm sitting here wondering if that was. But I don't think it was.
We still have that DeAndre Hopkins film clip from the Jets game
from
correct?
Last week. I think so, unless somebody deleted it. Maybe not.
I don't see it anymore.
Okay, we'll go back and look at that.
Yeah, because that Ridley touchdown was on there, and that might have been it, but I don't even think that was it. And Mario says wants to Burks. I'm not talking about a play action like 50-yard bomb that gets picked.
Right.
It's on the graphic right there on the screen with the Jets interception. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about literally like catch a snap and throw it. What Malik Willis did to get in the red zone to Christian Watson over Roger McCreary. 30-yard play that was a catch a snap, air it out, let the guy go run underneath it and jump up and make a play on the football.
Well, I mean, the one technically a fade that worked was the second touchdown pass to D-Hop where he just demonstrated, and we have that on tape for at some point today. He catches that ball, elite ball skills, didn't need separation, just played the ball with his elite hands and went up for it, and then managed to spin out of the tackle and get the touchdown. Like I think that was a bang throw.
Let's go ahead and get to that because when we're talking about winning, DeAndre Hopkins had a way bigger of a day than he's had up to this point. So we'll get to some DeAndre Hopkins, the progression that he's making in week 3 after a really slow start with the MCL injury. But real quick, the Farm Bureau Health Plans is where you should turn for your health coverage because they can help you if you're Tennessean save money and get better coverage. It's the best of both worlds. Zach Bingham saved 20% every month on his health coverage bill and got better coverage for it. Not having to pay out of pocket to go to the dentist twice a year. That's what you should be doing there. And also not having to pay out of pocket for contacts because if you need contacts, if you need eye correction, Farm Bureau Health Plans can get you the best situation as well. So fbhp.com/ATOZ is the website to go check out to get a quote. Once again, over 78 years of serving Tennesseans. They know how to do it. They know how to adapt and find the right plan for you, regardless of your situation, online at Farm Bureau Health Plans, fbhp.com/ATOZ.
We're also brought to you by BetMGM, the sports book born in Vegas. Austin, if you use our bonus code A to Z Sports, they will give you up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet does not cash. So you can go big and bold on that first bet. No sweat. They have got you insured there. They are a fantastic option because they got their app right in the palm of your hand wherever you go in the state of Tennessee. So whether you're enjoying a Titans win at a Broadway sports bar or at home with friends, you can always be betting on the game with BetMGM. Nothing like a Titans win where you win a little money on top of it, and the Titans will win eventually. I'm confident of it. Just got to be patient, guys. Sign up using our code A to Z Sports and experience football season like never before. BetMGM, an official partner of the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, they're gonna win. Like it's not 0-17 loading here. King
Surely
DC
not.
says, lock in, like the show. Please hit that like button if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube or both. Hit that like button for us. It goes a long way. So appreciate you guys for doing that. So Easton, kind of take us through. Speaking of loading, DeAndre Hopkins' return loading. He went over 70 yards and a touchdown in week 3 after having just 2 catches for a measly 17 yards the first 2 games. Take us through what you're seeing from D-Hop now.
Sure. Let's look at and by the way, you guys successfully bullied me into using a non-clear tumbler, so you can't see how much cream I put in my coffee.
It works every time.
That's right. Peer pressure, baby. Here is some of the tape from DeAndre Hopkins' outing, and these are going to be all of his completions. Targeted 7 times, caught every single one of them except for that first one, which we know what happened there. That's the pick 6, but highlighted on your screen, and he never really had a chance at that ball. Highlighted on your screen are all of his plays. We went through a tape breakdown last. I think you and Sam did, right? Maybe on a Thursday, something like that.
Sounds good. Yeah.
And we were talking, you guys were talking about how he just doesn't quite look there yet, which isn't shocking. That MCL he's still coming back from. The good news to me on tape, directly comparing the 2 cut-ups, he looks significant. And here's that fade ball, by the way, where he just that's a 32-year-old who's still got it right there.
Sure.
He looks like a guy that is getting healthier every single week. He looks like a guy that is actually able to run and separate within reason. He's never quite been the elite separator. That's never been his game, but enough to be able to put himself in positions to win. That's the good news. And the great news is that they finally decided to utilize him more, right? Like he led the team in not receptions. I think maybe tied for receptions, but led the team in yards, 79 yards on the game. And that was kind of more of a D-Hop style workload that we've become accustomed to with his time here in Tennessee. So that's the great news. They're using him more. The bad news is that he's still not playing he's less than 50% snap count on offense. And he's still being outsnapped by Treylon Burks. So, that's something that there'll be a line of questioning this week about because here's my question. Even when he gets back to 100% health, does this team plan on utilizing him at that clip that we saw him used at last year, for example? How much? Well, but how much of this is, he's not a plus player when we're running the ball on blocking plays, so we don't want him in there.
He can't play 100%. He can't play 100% of the snaps. But again, like we went through the same damn thing with Mike Vrabel. It's like, it's Cody Hollister and NWI are the receivers. And it's going to be a handoff
right
on 2nd and 10. Now you're in 3rd and 9. Now you put the good receivers in there and there's a sack. But like they have to play their best receivers more than having them. They can't have both D-Hop and Ridley off the field at the same time. That's just like the biggest giveaway.
Devin wants me to just go to the presser and say, Burks, why? What are we doing there?
Well, I know why. And it's because DeAndre Hopkins is still coming back from the MCL injury. We all know that the starters, and this is kind of I'm going to combine a super chat comment with something that happened in the month of August, because Derek says this is why the starters need to play in the preseason. Talking about slow start of the year. Game 2 against the Seahawks. They had a couple days of practice against the Seahawks in training camp. All the starters set, including Treylon Burks, did not play. NWI did. Caught a touchdown, was out there getting smacked in the face by DBs in a preseason game. And you're like, Treylon Burks is wearing a ball cap and t-shirt, and NWI is out there getting after it. Why? Well, because Treylon Burks is D-Hop's backup.
Well, in Austin, Treylon Burks, he's their number 1 graded interior player inside the building.
I'll come back to that in a second. But the fact that the D-Hop is coming back, he's still under 50% of the snaps, and Treylon Burks is his backup at his specific wide receiver position. That's why we're still getting so much Treylon Burks. I think things shifted in the second half of that game when the Titans had to throw the football because they were down a lot to the Packers. D-Hop got going. D-Hop had confidence, and you can see it in a couple of these plays towards the end of this video. It's the minute video or so, but like I really liked what I saw from, I want to say, the second and last route. It was, you started to see some of the route nuance come back from DeAndre Hopkins. And it was like an inside release, but then he slipped to the outside, or some type of little shoulder lean to one direction to get the DB to bite, and then he came out of it like that. Like this route in the center of the field is just like he ran into the middle of a wide open zone, and Levis found him for.
That's what he does well.
Yeah, which is great. Not this one. Maybe it's the next couple after the touchdown. Right. This is also great to see because he was off balance, landing on one leg, and was able to use his skills. So I think it's this one. You can see a little bit of
breaks
this.
Back out.
Yep. So that one, you saw the inside release to get outside. So a little bit of setting up the DB. And this last one too, watch him press the inside before another out one. So you see him show, and then boom, is able to make a sharper cut when you have an inside release for an outside route, you're going to have a sharper cut, and you got to have good knee ligaments to make a sharper cut.
Right.
So I'm seeing from those two routes specifically, DeAndre Hopkins is starting to bounce back.
Totally.
And that makes me more confident that 16 is going to get less snaps and 10 is going to get more, therefore a better offense.
Yeah, I wish I had the time to go back and look at what he was hovering at around last year. I want to say it was like in the 70s in terms of percentage of offensive snaps played. I know that's kind of the range where Calvin Ridley is sitting right now. Is that kind of what we're shooting for here? Is that he needs to be playing 3/4 of the offensive snaps probably?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I mean, because he is 32 years old. Like, you don't want him out there getting rolled up on because he's blocking on 1st and 10 or a 3rd and 2 goal line situation, right? Like,
Right.
Yeah, I get that.
So I think I texted you at one point during that game. Why does it feel like the Titans' only hope to come back from this game is their 32-year-old receiver? Because there are a couple of those drives. He took the drive where they were in scoring position, and we were all like, if they score here, it's not over yet. And then NPF promptly gets Levis murdered, and they fumble the ball.
Mm-hmm.
He was the dude on that drive. It was the DeAndre Hopkins show. And it's astonishing he can still do this. Hall of Fame talent, awesome to watch. But two, man, I don't see how, if you want this offense to really succeed this year and you want to be a competitor against any defense you go up against, you need to be leaning heavily on these top two receivers. And this is not groundbreaking information. Calvin Ridley, DeAndre Hopkins, those are your money makers in terms of the passing game. Utilize them at every level of the field. Force feed them the ball when you need to make something happen. I trust DeAndre Hopkins in that category more than I do Calvin Ridley. But as another graphic I think we have this morning, Austin, if we pulled it, the separations. Maybe that's where we want to go next.
That's where I'm going to go next. I do want to put some homework on you because Nick, I think, brings something interesting that I'm also interested in before we get to that graphic. Nick says, Easton, are there any stats out there that show the passing success of bunched formations versus spread formations?
I do not know, but I will.
I think I know. I think this is we can put the bat signal out there for Evan Winter, one of our managing editors for AtoZSports.com. Who knows exactly probably where to find this. It might take some extra sorting and some things like that, but I do think we can look at that, because if you're talking about winning fast, throwing fast, the best way is bunch formations.
Traffic, baby. Traffic.
Yes. And so I think that's a really good comment by Nick. Okay, here's this graphic that I want to get to, because this is where it's not Tuesday, but I will throw shade on Traylon Burks. So this is the average separation in weeks 1 through 3 and their catch point and yak grade. So the vertical graph here is catch point and yards after catch grade, and the horizontal is the separation grade. So you see the dotted line there is what the average is, which is exactly where DK Metcalf looks like he is sitting. Yeah. But you do see Chris Olave way the hell up there that you barely even notice him. Why doesn't he get more from Derek Carr? But you do see Calvin Ridley, who is separating the second best behind Chris Olave in the entire league of wide receivers who have run a minimum of 50 routes in the first 3 weeks. Now his catch point and grades is right at league average or average under, but he had that deep ball go through his hands. There's been a couple other things that have been.
He's never been a yak guy. Like, that's not his game. He's going to get open for you.
I think he could. I think there's a lot of potential for him to be a yak guy. He needs to be a better yak guy in this Jamar Chase role. But then you see at the very, 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 very bottom in the center of your screen, maybe
Braxton Berrios?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the other guy next to him? Got it.
Creating above average separation in the league, but being the actual worst at catching the football and then doing something with it after he catches it.
Or catches it are we assuming he catches it? That's part of the problem here.
With it.
Catch point grade is low because he's not catching it.
And this just drives me absolutely insane because, and I know I talked to Sam over the weekend because Titans receiver coach Tyke Tolbert did, tell you guys last week, he's the highest internally graded receiver we have because he does his job, because he runs the routes that are not supposed to get the football.
Clear out
Anybody can do
guy.
that. Like, yeah, he's
Cardio
going
guy.
and getting this cardio, which is what Mike Vrabel said he wasn't doing, but that's exactly what he's doing. And I just think it's like you can find somebody else to do that. Hell, go get Bryce Oliver and have him do that. Because if they don't guard Bryce Oliver, who's not as big of a body as Treylon Burks, I trust Bryce Oliver to catch the football more than I trust Treylon Burks to catch the football. I honestly don't think he's worth anything. He provides zero value because even when he does create separation, he won't catch it.
Yeah, I mean, I love that chart because it breaks down the very fundamental 3 elements of receiving, right? It's can you get open? Can you catch the ball? And can you do things after you catch the ball? Like those are the 3 tenets of what a receiver does. That x-axis is can you get open? Nailing that part. Congrats.
He can get open. He's
Brother's
okay
getting open.
Yes.
Check on step 1. Check 2. Step 2 and 3. We're not even close to step 2 and 3.
Which makes the getting open part 100% irrelevant.
Useless. Yeah. I mean,
yes, 100% irrelevant. If you don't catch the ball, why does it matter if you're open?
So I would imagine Titans coaches would tell you the reason that it is not 100% irrelevant is because if you've got a big body guy getting open regularly downfield, that creates opportunities underneath. But to your point, if teams realize who cares if this guy's getting open, he's not going to catch the ball, they're not going to respect it. They won't respect it.
Here's the thing is I don't care if it's me or you running down the field. They're going to have to follow us.
Sure.
Like right now, like you and I are not going to get down there as fast as Treylon will.
Right.
They're going to have to follow us. Like they're not going to just let somebody walk down the field wide the hell open for 40 yards to just catch it as a punt and get tackled.
Right.
Like, so I don't give a damn about anybody can do that.
Okay.
Like let Mason Kinsey do it.
Not anybody can get open that well.
No, anybody can run down the field, which is what they're saying. Treylon Burks is doing his job because he is doing what his assignment is on the plays that he's not getting the football.
No, I get it.
Again, anybody can do that. It's just running the route. But again, where you actually make a living as a receiver is by catching the football and making plays, not just run your route.
Right.
Like anybody can run their route to take up a space to allow somebody else to become open. So let NWI do it, who's going to have a better catch point grade than Treylon Burks. Let Bryce Oliver do it. I am at that point. Where I would rather Bryce Oliver have a chance to run the clear out route, and maybe you throw to him once, maybe you don't, but the same result is going to happen with Treylon Burks.
It's a strong sermon, Brother Stanley. I've got nothing to add to that. I think you're all over it, as you always are with Treylon Burks. I don't, I've played a little devil advocate there, but in real life, I agree completely. It's bad.
It's so bad. And like, I'm glad they haven't tried another end around with him. You know, hey, remember that conversation you and I had? Remember that conversation after week 1?
I still think that's where he's most effective because I know he'll actually have the ball.
Treylon Burks gained 6 yards on an end around. What did I say? Oh, Calvin Ridley would have gained 9. And what they do in week 2?
They scored a touchdown. Yeah. Listen, I'm not afraid to admit when I'm wrong. Maybe I was wrong on that one.
So 2 things in one here.
Can't get them all right.
DeAndre Hopkins is getting healthier, which will automatically decrease Treylon Burks' snaps because they play the same position.
Yep.
So Titans fans, you at least have that to lean on. Go ahead.
I don't want to finish on Burks because I have a different thought. So
no, I was just going to say side tangent that I'm open to Bryce Oliver.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. I'm with you on that.
Put David Martin Robinson out there.
You mean like Captain Inactive, that guy?
Yes. Captain Inactive, put the tight end out there to do it because he could probably block like Burks did on the Ridley end around.
So can we pull that graphic back up one more time? Because as much ire as we're giving Burks, rightfully so, I don't want to completely gloss over the other 2 Titans on this list. And I think some fans may be like, where's DeAndre Hopkins? Minimum 50 routes. So he's not quite qualified to be on here yet. If I had to guesstimate where he would be, his separation grade would be below average. His catch point grade would be above average. Not because of the yak part, but because of the catch point part, because he always catches the ball. But that's neither here nor there. You see Tyler Boyd, who is slightly below average in both departments. His separation, I mean, you and Sam keep hammering, he can't separate to me. And I feel like I'm taking crazy pills because we've known this. Tyler Boyd hasn't been able to separate since COVID was a thing. That's not his game. Calvin Ridley, though, you mentioned, hey, this guy can get open. Catch point yak. I understand you want more from him. I get that. I'm speaking historically. That's not been his game so far in his NFL career. So I'm not surprised that is average for him. Not bad, just average. But this guy's getting open so well. And it's something you can pull it off the screen now, Austin. We saw this throughout camp. You and I were out there, and Sam, and we're talking about how, like, holy cow, this guy moves different. He is able to shake guys like anybody else unlike anybody else on this team. Utilize him at every level of the field. Earlier in the show, I said when you were trying to force feed a guy and you need to make something happen, DeAndre Hopkins is definitely my pick over Calvin Ridley. I stand by that. I feel like most people stand by that in terms of reliability, clutch moment guy. Yeah. It's D-Hop. But when it comes to just when it comes to a guy being able to shake any DB that he is facing, get open and make those X plays, those explosive plays that win you ball games, that's Calvin Ridley. That's what they paid him to be on this team. You can see on the chart, he is operating in a way that allows him to get the ball in space in big moments down the field, and they aren't connecting on them yet. And we've beaten this drum on the Will Levis, Calvin Ridley connection, and I do think it's really as simple as you got to have patience with guys to develop chemistry. But if and when that clicks, I think that can be a big turning point for this Titans offense. I think that could be a flip switch where all of a sudden we're like, wow, this is working, and I get why they're paying him.
I think that what we just said, the connection between Ridley and Levis is why Calvin Ridley is where he's at, but it could be right there where Mike Evans is at.
Yeah, just getting him the ball and seeing what he can do.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, maybe they get on a better page and they connect it, and then boom, he's right up there with Mike Evans. And you want to be wherever Mike Evans is at if you're talking about being a wide receiver.
Right. So I mean, Jonathan says he's getting open, but Levis can't find him. I don't think that's 100% true. Really, like they're targeting Ridley.
Not Sunday.
Well, in that game,
the Packers.
That's fair.
And look, Orlovsky said, "Oh, look, I like what they're doing. They're winning on film." Well, we don't know how often Calvin Ridley actually was wide open because Will Levis was sacked 8 times and had to scramble 3 other times. So it's like, there's at least 10 plays that Will Levis, maybe more than 10 plays, that Will Levis could have had a chance to hit Ridley that we just don't know what happened because the offensive line wasn't good enough or Levis created his own pressure.
Yeah, so that's fair. In the Green Bay game, I agree. And I need to go back and I need to just track Ridley and see. I haven't done that yet.
In my gut, that a tweet that Dan Orlovsky tweeted on the morning of September 25th was about watching the Green Bay film.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I get that. I guess my point is in the first 2 games, we saw them target Ridley. I mean, Ridley, I'll double check. He does lead the team in targets and yards, I believe, at least yards. There have been, in my mind's eye, I can see 2 or 3 times where he had another like 200 total yards that were this close. Think about the one that went right through his hands in the Jets game down the right side of the field. At the end of the Jets game, think about the one that was within reach and he kind of quit running because he never saw it way down the field, like on the goal line on the final drive. Think about the one that there's one that was really underthrown that he couldn't quite get back to. There have been a number of times that he was there. It was there. And whether it's on him or on Levis, it just didn't quite click. They're close on that. I really do think they're close on that connection.
Yeah, I would agree. And so I that's why I think the Titans do still have opportunity. To go back to Tyler Boyd's words that we played earlier in the show. It's going to take time. He has seen this offensive system work. He's the only one that it's not new to. And so it's going to take time, but he thinks they can get there. And I honestly do believe him on that. A to Z Sports here live on this Wednesday. Do got a couple other comments to get to kind of go full circle on our initial topic of the day about the weapons winning, but it not translating into any much of anything really. Real quick, the Bone and Joint Institute is where you should turn for all of your injury situations that pop up because injuries happen in life just like they do in football. And whether you get hurt just walking around being a goofball or getting older and things happen, or maybe you have that intramural softball league where you're getting whooped up on by the former D1 pitching staff of Sanford University, and you get hurt and you have to go figure something out. Easton's clearly not listening, as I was making fun of his shade from yesterday. But the Bone and Joint Institute is where you should turn for all of your injury situations. They got all the experts and the resources there in Franklin under one roof, the doctors, the technology, the imaging, everything right there. Book an appointment online, boneandjointtn.org.
Listen, I won't have to hurt myself in rec league softball if these sweats will just leave us alone. That was my point. We're also brought to you this morning by BetMGM, the sports book born in Vegas. Folks, if you go and use our bonus code A to Z Sports, you can get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't cash. That's fantastic insurance. We talked yesterday, Austin, about how for some godforsaken reason, the Titans opened as road favorites despite being 0-3 against the quarterbackless Miami Dolphins. That has flipped. Last I checked, Dolphins now a 1-point home favorite. So if you are the masochistic betting type and want to quadruple down on your Tennessee Titans, you can go and do that over at BetMGM. And listen, if you don't have an account, sign up for the first time, you can say to yourself, hey, this is a terrible idea, but maybe this is the spot. And I have insurance because they will back my bet up to $1,500. I can get it back in bonus bets if the Titans once again let us down. That's the kind of bet I like to make right there. No sweat. Do it over at BetMGM using our code A to Z Sports. BetMGM, an official partner of the Tennessee Titans.
All right, so a couple comments to get to. First off, Tim Mills gives us $1.99, but there's no comment. So I will ask you guys to like the show for
the
Tim.
Donation.
Appreciate that, Tim. So hit that like button as well. King VC says, I'll say this, when that O-line's doing its job, Titans look really good offensively. The O-line was the biggest issue on offense. The time I think it was Will Levis, there was Will Levis that was the problem, was the Bears game when he kept drifting in the pocket. Yeah, I mean, Callahan said that there was a few times in that Bears game that he did drift. Right. I think you can say that Levis has been better each week overall, big picture. But there were other moments against the Packers that I thought he created pressure that was unnecessary.
Well, think about that one sack where he's pump faking downfield and literally runs into the guy. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I'm just like, yeah, man.
That is his second worst play of that game by far. It's the pick six and then that one. Horrible.
Yes.
I will say for VC though, I mean, Austin, think back to that opening drive against Green Bay.
Perfect.
I even tweeted it. I said it so far, this Titans O-line is giving Will Levis such better protection. And then I caveated it with an asterisk. It's been one drive. And then of course it went downhill from there.
Yeah.
But brother, if you just go back and watch that one drive, I'm with VC. There it is. They look so much better when he's got a real pocket to operate from.
Yeah, without a doubt. Blockbuster says, why was Duncan on the field? He got beat every snap. Put me out there. I can block better. Yeah, I mean,
Let's
Blockbuster.
real quick.
Yeah, I mean, well, because NPF was terrible. Like,
no, I don't care. He has to be your guy. He has to.
NPF?
Yeah, you don't have, again, we talk about the Niners practice squad, go get Chris Hubbard. Yeah, sure. When that happens, we'll talk about it. But right now, assuming that you work with what the Titans have on their roster, I mean, my buddy James Foster referred to Duncan as the worst Titans tackle he's ever seen play, which there have been some real contenders for that in recent years. Quite literally unplayable. That's how bad. As bad as you think MPF is, Duncan is another level of hell, folks. You don't want Duncan out there, I promise.
I mean, that's a very popular group, infamous group with Dennis Daly, Andre Dillard, and you can go back to the captain, the leader of the worst tackles to play for the Titans, of Will Svitek. Svitek in like 2013 or something
12
like that.
Or something. Yeah.
Something like that. Jeffrey brings this up super chat. I don't understand it, but I'll read it. It's pathetic that NWI still has to fight to prove himself when Burks can't even handle a chocolate chip cookie. Austin, fire Easton for the Burks comment. I don't know what Burks comment that.
What did I say?
Easton was trying to play devil's advocate and said as much. I don't know. Nothing you have said or done has been fireable.
I said he can get open. That's true.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll get myself fired eventually. It's not for that.
Hey, you get hired to get fired in this industry, right?
That's right. That's right.
That the media and coaching is like very super high layoff rates. So
true.
But no, look, Treylon Burks, waste of space. And I think I am proven 100% accurate by saying that Treylon Burks has been waste of space because he's created space and he's wasted it. by having separation, but being the worst receiver that has run 50 or more routes. He just doesn't catch the ball or do anything with it after he catches it.
Yep. It's really simple. There's nothing to add. It's bad.
All right. Chosen Super Chat says, why won't they sign Chris Hubbard to play right tackle?
They might. I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, I think they should.
I think so too. I mean, they know him. They know the guy. So, whether or not they do may be telling in terms of like how much gas I think he has left in the tank, that relationship. But if they don't, I am sorry to say, your guy is MPF. You have to roll with the punches.
But again,
with
like
MPF.
he does have to. Does he have to go? No, he doesn't have to. If the Titans want to sign him to the roster off of the Niners practice squad, he can say no.
Yeah. No, he's not forced to join the team.
Right. He can say no. And so
Correct.
Where would you rather be? In San Francisco?
I mean, I don't know, man. It's a starting job. Starting job. You want a starting job.
Yeah, but the practice squad isn't what it used to be. Like you can play and be on the practice squad. Because you can get elevated. Like there's opportunity.
It's not the purgatory it used to be. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. Like being on the practice squad is not a bad thing at all. Like, you can make legit money, and Chris Hubbard's in his 30s.
Yeah.
Right. He probably is totally fine. Like, hey, how can I keep getting paid without getting my body killed and then have a chance to play in a spot for a team and a franchise that has been to the Super Bowl a couple times in recent. So like he doesn't have to.
You'd make more money though, right? Or am I being dumb? If you get signed to the active roster,
he would make more money.
Your new contract.
Without a doubt. He would make more money. No doubt. Sightseeing super chat, last super chat before I'll cut him off.
He's 33, by the way.
Yeah, 33. Like he is at the point where he is trying to think about how he's setting up his life after football.
Cash those checks, baby.
And getting hit less is good. Sightseeing says second half Levis to Hop. Keep doing that. Yep. I think we can all agree. And that's why I feel better about less Traylon Burks and more DeAndre Hopkins. All right, Easton, it is now time for us to get to some rapid fire sports trivia. So we'll get to that here in a second. Shout out to our friends at Wilson County Hyundai. Make them a part of your new car buying process. Go see them in Lebanon or online at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. Easton, are you ready for a little trivia action?
Let's do it. I got it pulled up here. Let me share my screen real quick.
And we are off, maybe?
There she is.
Pretty smooth transition, I will say. All right, so we're going to go rapid fire. Let's see if you can close out of these ads for us because we can get a little Zoom action in here.
It won't let me once again.
Okay, just give it a little command and plus to get us a Zoom.
Command plus, okay.
That's how you do it. At least.
Too much? Is that okay? Is that allowed?
That's okay. That's okay right there.
We'll roll with this.
That should be good. All right, we start with the NFL.
Yep.
Then we're going to go music and movies. And after that, we're just going to go wherever we feel like it. So NFL, music, and movies. Shout out to Eric and Vanessa.
All right, we ready?
All right. NFL, let's do it.
Here we go. As a player, Jim Harbaugh made his lone Pro Bowl while playing for this AFC team in 95.
Colts?
I think so. Yes.
All right.
Music. Since 2000, the Spanish singer-songwriter has released multiple hits, including Hero, I Like It, and Bailando. Andre Iglesias? It's Iglesias. It's something Iglesias.
Or Enrique.
Enrique, yeah. Directed by Kevin Smith, starring Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. This character...
Jane, Silent Bob.
I have no idea.
Oh.
Chad, help us out here.
What's the question?
Affleck and Damon. 99.
About Two Fallen Angels?
Dogma?
They're
thinking it's Dogma. If I can type. Here we go. All right. Where are we going next? Television.
There you go.
From 93 to 2000 and then again in 09 to 21, Richter was the sidekick for what?
Leno?
Andy Richter.
CJ Leno's
go
guy?
to 21?
He came back.
Yeah.
Oh, we jumped the gun on it.
We did jump the gun. Conan. I should have known that.
Damn.
Final National League pitcher to receive the Rolaids Relief Man Award was this Braves closer in 12. Oh, we need some Braves fans in the chat. Help us out here.
And Sam is a
Sam would
great
know.
baseball. Yeah,
I'm a baseball
the
casual.
Rolaids Relief Man.
That's
one
a
hell of an
terrible
award.
Kimbrel.
Craig Kimbrel.
Man, I cannot type today. Holy cow. All right, NBA. After medically retiring in 11, Brandon Roy attempted to make a comeback by signing with this Western Conference team in 2012.
Oh,
I'm
man,
an NBA casual as well.
Beast. Washington Husky. Oh, I don't know.
Brandon Roy. Western
I don't know
Conference
where
team.
he was with Portland for forever. I don't know what he did after that.
I was 11 years old.
Did he go back to the Blazers? Rockets. Football Fred says Rockets.
Oh, we're getting all kinds of answers. All right, we're getting multiple Portland answers. The chat is all over the place on this. I have no idea. Minnesota is a couple folks.
Minnesota. Let's just wait. There's a Clippers. There's 3 Minnesotas. I think we go
T-Wolves.
I think we go to T-Wolves.
All right. Hey, geography. State capital of Wisconsin is Madison.
Hey, knew that one.
Celebrity mashup. This is
that looks like it could be a real person.
It does. It the Coldplay guy, right? What's his name? Chris.
And then the really mean comedian is the inside face.
Okay.
Joe something. Joel.
Chris. What's his name? Gosh, I am not a Coldplay guy. It's Chris something.
It starts with a C, doesn't it? Joel McHale. Do Joel McHale is the center. Or is it Bill Burr on the outside?
No, that haircut's not Bill Burr.
The haircut's not Bill Burr.
It's McHale and who? That's not Burr, guys. It's not. No. It's Martin. Chris Martin. That's what it is. Hello. Is there no Chris Martin option? Christie? Get out of my way.
Zoom out. Command minus.
That's not it.
What happened?
Okay, there's Chris Martin.
What happened?
And there's Joel McHale. Okay, jeez.
All right.
Beverages. Owned by Coca-Cola. This brand of beverages is known for its lemonade and juices. Naming rights for Houston Astros. Minute Maid?
Maid.
Is that right?
Minute Maid.
Yes.
Double dip. Morning. Stupid.
Not our best day out here. Not even close. Over 4 minutes and a miss. That is really tough. Got to coach better, play better.
Well, the freaking ad stuff is a problem.
Ad, I mean, the fact that it won't let me close the ad. Come on. Get together, the dozen.
Well, all right, that'll do it for us.
A new low bar for us here on the show.
Yeah, we're just trying to get better. This is just like your third time carrying the trivia train on your side of things. So you gotta get more reps. It'll happen.
It's like the Titans offense. We got to gel still.
Yes, it's new to you. So we're just gonna have to keep on working at it, keep on cracking away. All right, guys, that's it for us here on this Wednesday. Don't forget, tonight, episode 2.
What's tonight? Is there a WNBA game on? What's going on?
This Survivor 47.
Oh, that's
episode 2 is back tonight. So we get to see Sam back in action. And Sam and I will be back on the show tomorrow morning. We'll see how episode 2 of Survivor 47 goes and see where our guy's at after another night. That's at 7 p.m. Central on CBS and Paramount. We'll talk. I'll give my recap at least off the top. But Sam, I don't know how much you'll be able to do, but we'll have some fun with that. But we'll catch you guys later on. Make sure you hit that like button, like the show before you go. Buck has prime time tonight, and also Easton, Sam, and Buck will be at the Titans facility throughout the day with press conferences and locker room availability from practice, getting ready for week 4 against the Dolphins. We'll catch you guys later on. Appreciate it as always.